Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the new episode of the Xbox Lunch Break Special. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and we are all still on an incredible high from Starfield releasing in early to access. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. It seems like most people are in that 30-hour range because I put out a tweet. I've seen a lot of people like one day 5 hours, one day 10 hours, one day 12 hours, and then I've seen some extreme ones out there 2 days 6 hours. I was like, wow, that's amazing. We're going to get into some of the talk. Obviously, Starfield is still the conversation. I did record a bunch of footage. This is very early, so there's no spoilers, folks. This is literally the opening of the game. There is some side quest stuff that I recorded that I found that you literally have to go looking for that are way off the main story arc. So don't worry about spoilers. You know, you're not gonna be spoiled by anything here. We're going to spend about maybe 70 or 80 minutes. Today's going to be a bit of a shorter show because obviously it's a holiday. I don't want to hold people up if they're going out to have a barbecue or something. But we are going to spend a significant time talking about Starfield. But let's introduce everyone first. And Fuzzy Belvedere, listen, you, my friend, are going to be joining us on Tuesday's Xbox Factor podcast next week. Now, you're asking, why is that a special day? Well, it's a special day because we are going to be talking about Starfield. Now, the embargo lifts on September 11th, which I believe is that Tuesday. I want to make sure I got my dates, but if obviously I can't say anything about the game until the embargo lifts at 12 p.m. So whatever the show we're going to be having that day, it's going to be showing you some footage, my actual racing footage from the Microsoft event that I attended last week. Fuzzy, I know you're down for that. How are you feeling, brother?
Yeah. Well, I'm feeling great, although not as well rested as I probably should be playing this game. But man, like I said before, it's going to be a pretty busy couple of months between Starfield and the next game coming out from Xbox. But man, oh man, I you could probably hear it in my voice as far as the grogginess. But Starfield, I know there's some places that want to, beat their chest about their lower rating score.
We're going to get into that. Pretty ridiculous too. It's almost embarrassing, to be honest. But yeah, we'll get to it.
But look at it this way: considering how, I've only glanced at Twitter here and there, mainly looking at people's picks and things. Twitter is kind of quiet on one side. I wonder why. Because a lot of people are playing the actual game, and the others are not playing games and talking about a game that either they didn't have interest in or don't have access to, or whatever the case may be. But man, we're going to get into it. Glad to be here with you guys. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Man, we got a lot to get into. Let's do this.
You know what? Real quick, I want to make a quick correction. For some reason, I guess maybe I looked at either the following month or the month before it. September 11th happens to fall on a Monday, of course. So obviously, we'll be taking next Monday's show and using it as our jumping off point for all your questions that I might be able to answer live on the air for Forza Motorsport. Again, I have 2 embargoes, one of which was one that I could tell you where I was and what I did. Second embargo has not lifted. It will lift at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time on September 11th. I'll be able to show you actual racing footage that I was able to record while I was on boots on the ground with Microsoft. And we're going to use that, obviously, being that Fuzzy is a part of this show. He's going to have a lot to say about it. Obviously, we're going to get into it. We're going to spend a good portion of it because I was going to do a video, but folks, the truth of the matter is that these videos take a very, very, very long time to produce, and it'll get seen by 2,000 people. To be honest with you, I'd rather have a live show where if you have questions as a fan of the brand and you pose those questions, if I have the answer, I'll be able to answer them live on the air for you. And I know Fuzzy is looking forward to that because obviously he's Mr. Forza. But Praise Lou Gaming. What's going on, brother? I'm glad that you survived the storm. Hopefully there wasn't too much damage. I know that was supposed to be a storm from a couple of, I think it was like, was it last week? You said you were preparing?
Last week. It was 2 weeks ago, I think it was. Yeah. But everything good. Everything's good, Mr. Boomstick. I mean, I'm doing pretty well, pretty awesome. Like fuzzy, tired. This game sucks you in a way.
Oh my! I got up at 1 something in the morning, and I stayed up to like 4 something in the morning. And old men shouldn't do that.
Oh no, we shouldn't. We shouldn't. When you go to bed late, it really takes what's it called? It really takes a lot on you. If you like, for example, me the first day, oh my god, I went to bed like around 3, and then the next day I woke up, I was like, but hey, well, turn on my Xbox and kept on playing, but still, man, that game really sucks the heck out of you in it. It's awesome game. Having a lot of fun, man. Having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about anyone else personally. The shipbuilding is well over my mohawk. I cannot figure it out. Honestly, I haven't put it. I'm going to be honest. I'm hoping that at some point, I don't know if they can add it because it is a whole different thing. I don't know because obviously maybe Fuzzy will be able to answer this question. I would love the ability to look at other people's builds and be like, yeah, I like that, and I want to download that. I saw a Millennium Falcon. I saw the Star Trek Enterprise. I saw an X-Wing fighter. I saw just on TikTok, people have been posting it left, right, and center. And I tried. I was like, yep, I don't figure this out. As a matter of fact, Steel Rain built a ship so big he could probably put like 100 people on it. Like he showed a video of what he did, and I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy.
He built an Optimus Prime. I think he built the what's it called? From Spaceball 1, the maid. I think literally built the maid right there.
Oh, that's listen, if you have that kind of talent, good on you. I don't know if I have the patience nor the talent. I literally just by accident, before we went live, I was on the planet's surface. I pressed a button. I saw like this tower and it says, oh, put beacon. And I got a 10-point achievement. Like, oh, is this how you base build? Yeah, I'm never going to do that either. I got my 10-point achievement. So I'm happy. Look, before we get into our experiences, because one of the things that I think I'm finding with this game, and I kind of knew this was going to happen because I when I see something shiny off to the right, I always want to go. Like I have a bunch of main missions, especially like for the Constellation. I'll speak to some. I still haven't done them because I'll like be flying in space. I get into a dogfight, which by the way is very difficult. I've died many times. It's this game is deep. But I'll find like an abandoned mining post or an abandoned whatever. And there's going to be spacers there. There's going to be pirates there. And I'm looking to collect loot. So, I mean, I just go and you'll get over there. And I try to do things stealthy. It doesn't really work out that way. Usually it turns into a firefight because they see you. But I'm having such a great time with this. This again, when you look at the screen, it's very hard. And this is not me being an Xbot, folks. This is me being just a gamer. I really want to put that out on Front Street. When I play a game, one of the things that I think, or one of the complaints for many Xbox players is we haven't had a game for a while to point at and be like, look at those graphics. Those are like PlayStation level graphics. That's what you see on your screen in front of you. Like I'm blown away by what we are experiencing. But when you consider all of the things that are piled on top of this, that somehow this game works, the fact that this game actually works is mind blowing. So I bring all of that up to saying, look, I want to bring the IGN conversation in for a few minutes because Dan Stapleton got out on the socials, and him and Tim Dog, Tim Dog said a few things. I don't think they were disrespectful. But Dan Stapleton did say something that was a bit, I don't want to say out of character because, sorry, he's a bit of an a-hole. So this is what happened on Twitter. I'm going to read verbatim, folks. Dan Stapleton says to Tim Dog, out of curiosity, I went back and checked. The Xbox exclusive games that I've reviewed at IGN are Gears Tactics. He gave an 8. Dead Rising 3, he gave an 8.3. Halo Spartan Assault 5.8, and Save Decay 2 7.5. Like, I'm a little like, my whole point with this is, if you very rarely review Xbox games and you're putting this out there for us, that you're telling us what you're, see, the fact that he's still talking about this knows that he got it wrong. And he got it wrong because he used this. He didn't really want to give it a 7. He probably really wanted to give it a 9, but Dan Stapleton wanted to use a 7 as driving traffic for IGN. So when you start seeing people falling off the wagon, meaning that they're unsubscribing and they're not watching IGN anymore, it's because of him. So Tim Dog, this is his oh no, so let me continue. Dan Stapleton's final point of this tweet says, so consistently slightly above the average, which is why are we trying to justify a 7 on what you see on your screen? It is not a 7. I'm sorry. A 7 tells me this game barely works. This game it's broken in some way. A 7 is not a good score. A 7 is barely average. And we have heard from different people within the industry that he specifically asked to do this review, pulling it from Ryan McCaffrey and from Dustin Legary. And I know people will be like, well, you know, they're busy, they got family. Listen, I'm sorry to say, if you are in the business of review editing, then you make time for something as big as this, especially if you're an Xbox guy. I'm just saying. So this is what Tim Dog had to say. Dan, you know, you had some stupid comments about Xbox, and you also said how much you hated the Bethesda deal. I don't think you purposely docked the game, but may have went into the game with the wrong set. Also, like the stupid Forza tweet by IGN's official account, this tweet came off as excuses. You should just say that this is my opinion and F off if you don't like it. Respect that more than this. This makes me think about you weren't in the right mindset. Also, going to be honest, you shouldn't tell your IGN friends your score beforehand. Kind of should have kept it that to yourself. I knew about the 7 you gave 2 hours before the review. Sorry, it just doesn't sit right with me. Also, your site has been always shitty to Xbox. We get it, but that's just been added to the mix. So his response is this. How much did I hate the Bethesda deal exactly? Can I just not like something and I think that it's not in the best interest of consumers without stamping my feet and declaring war on Microsoft? Is that a thing that is possible to do, or is this an all or nothing deal in your mind? Also, I don't run IGN Social, but if it makes you feel any better, that's my opinion, and F off if you don't like it. I will show this to everyone here and make sure that they know never to trust you again, because why would you even throw that out? What did you gain? Fuzzy, let's go to you here, because obviously if he wasn't feeling a type of way, the truth of the matter is he wouldn't even responded, because I wouldn't have responded. If this is your if a 7 is your honest opinion and there was no malicious intent, you know, then you don't even I don't think you even engage with someone, especially a Tim Dog. And I say that with respect, because Tim and I are really good friends, but Tim's an Xbox guy like myself. Me, I don't think there has been a point where I have gone back and forth with the review editors over a score, because you're not going to win. This is their opinion. It's very unfortunate. It's their opinion. It's their opinion. IGN is. I think there's going to be ramifications with Xbox moving forward. I think they're going to be less likely to want to give them review codes, potentially unveil something over there, because I don't think that they need IGN. I've said this before. IGN, yes, they're a big conglomerate, but if you're going to continue this bias-like behavior, then there's no reason to even bother interjecting or even having a conversation at this point. We'll call you, don't call us. That's how I would handle it. Let's get your hot take on the on Dan Stapleton's continued defense of his score. Because, like I said, I think that if you are that stout, if you believe that this is a 7, you don't even answer.
Yeah. I mean, it just sounds like a weird defense. And for him to come back and say, I'm gonna show everybody at the office because, what did you gain by, divulging that? Well, clearly it struck a nerve. Like,
yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
If it didn't matter, like it sounds like, and I've been in office situations where we always know like that either that employee or that company that your company may have to deal with that nobody likes, but somebody says something and they may think they're surrounded by people that think the same way, but there's going to be occasionally a couple of people that are like, yeah, you may not want to propose that idea because they're going to shoot it down regardless. Like if anything, you may want to have somebody else in your team kind of propose the idea. And that type of stuff happens in the corporate world, and I'm assuming even in review companies as well. And it shows that he already went in with a mindset that he's going to crap on this. And it's great that he had a list of other games that he gave better scores to, but those same games, and I know you're supposed to rate a game based on the game itself and not compare it to others, but when you give certain other games like an 8, like don't get me wrong, I love what is it, Dead Rising 3. That was one of the better launch titles on Xbox One, but that's nowhere near on the same level as this. And even if you were to take a time snippet of comparing Dead Rising 3 to other games in its time frame to this in its time to Starfield in its time frame, it's not on the same level. It's Starfield would be the 8.5 a lot easier than Dead Rising being well, I could see Dead Rising getting the 7 compared to the 8.5 for Starfield and not the other way around. But I don't know. I just, the thing that gets me about some of the review scores on this game is that they're pointing at certain like finite things that they overlook on other titles. So if you look at like Jedi Survivor, broken as hell when, excuse my language, broken when it came out. A lot of inconsistent issues. Yes, there were improvements over Fallen Order. The map wasn't really one of them. Slight improvement, but not really.
The map
but
is
yet
awful.
You're going to call out like the fast travel and things like that on this when it's way better than what it is in Survivor. Sure, Survivor has an actual map that you can kind of rotate and whatnot, but all things considered, if you have your scanner on, you can see the arrows on the ground. So that's like, I guess, the best way of not having a mini map. You use that, but it just certain things he picked out on that it's like, oh, I'm going to focus on these and that's going to bring down the score this much. But yet when another game has other broken mechanics that even if they do a patch still aren't fixed, you're going to give that a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. It just boggles my mind. But
it is. It's shocking, dude, because this is the same guy. Someone put it in the chat. Shout out to the Black Viking. What's going on, brother? How the heck are you? This guy, if you're not following him on Twitter, you should. He has exploded on the scene. Family dude. Definitely go follow him on Twitter. He gave, someone just put in the chat, like, I'm a little shocked. Duke Nukem Forever, he gave an 8, which that game was probably a 2. And also, which I'm sure money changed hand there. There's no doubt about it. He also gave The Outer Worlds an 8.5. And when you consider The Outer Worlds compared to Starfield, first of all, graphically, it's leaps and bounds better. Aesthetically, it's leaps and bounds better. The size, scope, and scale of what you can do, who you could become, versus, and I'm not taking anything away from Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds 1 was amazing. Obsidian at their absolute finest. There's no doubt about it. With that said, though, please continue because, again, it's just questionable. Like I said, I understand the business, folks. I've said this before. I understand that clicks drive, engagement. Is engagement down at IGN US? I don't know, but when you consider IGN of the other IGNs, and there's a lot of them. It's a big conglomerate company. It has its reach across the world. When you're getting 10s and 9s and 9.5s, and you're the outlier at a 7, it seems like it's a motivated thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I just
And
we're not going to
if
spend too
anything,
much time on it. I wanted to just bring that to light.
yeah, if anything, they should do an average of all of the IGNs. I mean, have it where, okay, the US gave it a 7, but the overall average as a company is an 8 point whatever type of thing, or maybe a 9 because of the other higher scores. But that to me would make more sense. And then that way it's like, okay, you just had a bad day, or you have something against Todd Howard kind of thing. And you can kind of see it for what it is. Because if 5 other parts of your company, or at least 3 other parts of your company, are giving it a higher score than you, maybe you're the one with but it's all subjective to some extent. But you know, Outer Worlds, also a great game, but this does almost everything, if not all things, that Outer Worlds did, but better. But it's different studios, different scope of game. Like Outer Worlds was meant to be a shorter scope game. This is a game, Starfield is like a 10-year game. Not that you should be playing it for 10 years, but you're going to be playing through a number of times. And there are all kinds of different outcomes and different builds and different approaches on doing things and different storylines based on the companions and so forth. So, yeah, this is not a 7 in my eyes, but, his opinion, he can go F himself. I've rambled enough. I'm sorry.
No, I love when you ramble, because you it's why you're part of not one show but 2 shows that we do weekly, and you bookend them on Fridays and Mondays, because obviously you bring a significant amount of wealth of not only personal opinion but gaming knowledge, and that's why we love having you. Shout out to where did it go? Lord X Boss. I just had it. He put a tweet in here. Let me find it. Hold on. Okay, here it is. This is interesting because I did not know this. According to Lord X Boss, he says IGN and PC Gamer pull $3 billion a year in advertising, and 40% of that advertising money comes from Sony. It pays to criticize the competition and praise the cash cow, and well, there you go. Again, folks, I'm going to take him at his word. If that in fact is the case, there you go. Let's bring Crazy Lou into the gaming into it. Again, we're not going to spend a significant amount of time, but one of the things on top of Dan Stapleton double downing on his bad score is the fact that GameSpot, who also gave it a 7, who also is pro Sony side, folks. I mean, I'm not making it up. Went out of their way in the last 3 days to tweet probably around 6 or 7 times that they gave Starfield a 7, and they use a big 7 in green with the Starfield logo. And I like I said, I get it. I mean, you got to drive engagement, but folks, how you hurt these people isn't by cursing at them, isn't telling people to F off. That's the wrong way to do it. I'm gonna tell you that right now, because you can become white noise. Don't do that. Unsubscribe. Put a hashtag out there. If it bothers you, unsubscribe IGN, unsubscribe GameSpot. If it really bothers you, don't click on their stuff. That's that. When they start seeing us, first of all, gaming media as a whole, I'm not saying it's dying, because it's not dying, but it has taken a hit from content creators like myself and everybody on this panel. Right? That's what we do. We are as we grow in popularity, people start hearing our voices. People are less inclined to listen to IGN and to GameSpot and to Kotaku, because we know that they lie and that they are motivated by pushing up one brand or another. I don't know. Let's get your hot take on specifically Dan having words with Tim Dog. I don't think Tim Dog was disrespectful, to be honest with you. I think by calling him stupid, maybe he did strike a nerve, because you probably shouldn't call anyone stupid. It should have been like your comment was whatever. But for him to take Tim's words and use it against him by saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to take you up on your advice. F off. It's my opinion." I mean, you're a grown man, I think, and you run or you are in charge. You have a I don't know what his exact title is, but I know he's like head of reviews. He has a pretty big position there. I don't know if that's me out there, doing that, but what are your thoughts on this before we get into some record-breaking numbers for Steam?
The negative, like I always say, the negative always brings out the positive, because look at GameSpot. GameSpot has been trying to tweet, "Hey, we gave it a 7. We give it a 7. Come give us the same attention. We want that attention. We really do want it." And that's what they want. Seriously, they want that attention. Why? Because it's making them money. So here's my take on this, right? IGN, I googled it up. They have 250 employees. Out of those 250 employees, there's got to be someone there's got to be someone that is a fan of these type of games, right? And this is something you got to do. You got to sit down. You got to pick the right person to do these reviews. Yes. You can't be like, "Oh, let's give it to this guy. Let's give it to that guy. Oh yeah, he's gonna give it a 7. Okay, he gave it a 7. All right, perfect, awesome." And after he gave it a 7, we all saw the attention he's been getting. And let me tell you something, that's what he wanted. He wanted that attention. He wanted to, to receive that negative attention, because people are going to go over there and look at his review, not only on the PS fanboy side, also on the Xbox side, because, hey, we're trying to get this guy down, beat him down. But at the end of the day, he's just doing what he's doing because, hey, he's getting that attention. He's getting IGN the attention he needs, and that's good for him. So if we, of course, we need to get out there and try to defend something that we might find is wrong. But for him, it was a 7. Hey, bet on IGN for having him review that game, because if you sit down and you look at all the other reviews, I mean, literally, it's less than 3% that gave it a lower score than the guys who gave it a positive review to this game. So basically, he's just part of that 3% that gave it a lower score to that game. So really, it's bad on IGN that they selected him to review this game when they could have selected somebody else who actually loves these type of games. They could have gone out there, expressed themselves, and say, "Hey, I played this game, Bethesda took it to another limit," because, hey, we've all played Bethesda games, and to be honest, this one is huge. I mean, I played Fallout, I played Skyrim, and man, I love those games. But this one is such a huge game, so much stuff to do, such cool stuff in this game that you really like, wow, this is amazing. And you get a guy that basically sits there and plays this game. It's like, "Oh, I give a 10 to Forza." I don't care if you give it 10 to Forza. That means you love car games. That's what you're telling me. But this game, you just don't love it. You just didn't have the feel for it. So what I do is I blame the company instead of blaming that guy. Because why? Because they need to pick a person who actually loves these type of games. Because Mr. BoomStick, you even said it before. You were talking about Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate, you saw it was a 10. You even said, "This is not my type of game." Maybe this is not the type of game for that. Maybe it's not. But really, that's on IGN's side of things. And they really need to sit down. They really need to get people to review a game, not because of the company that has bought it, not because of the company it belongs to, but the game as it is.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. Get someone to review the game as it is. Review it as a fan. Not because Xbox has it, not because PlayStation has it. No, get them to review it as a fan of these type of games. That's what you got to do. But hey, bad on him for reviewing it like that, and bad on him to going against also on the public, because that's another thing though. If you're gonna give it a score, hold it up. I mean, that's your score. That's it. You don't have to go out there, face the public, or shame the public, or say, hey, even Silent Cypher had I mean, this guy even told Silent Cypher something. I mean, I was like, wow, it's incredible. A guy that's reviewing games is going out there against people that could be your fans at the end of the day. Could be, fans of you, could follow you, could do that. I mean, if you sit down and just say, hey, this is just my opinion. I saw this, and why I gave it this, and be reasonable instead of going out there and just going against the crowd. That's just bad on your side too. Just being, like I always say, if you're going to be negative, don't say anything. Just be quiet about it. But hey, like I said, this is IGN's fault. They should have selected a person to read the game how it is instead of citing somebody who's going to be a fan of a company or saying that, like he said before, this is a bad deal. I mean, if you're going to put somebody that said this deal was bad, he's literally going to try to shame him. That's the reality of that. So you should have gone to somebody else. That's bad on you, IGN. So I blame you, IGN, for picking that person. But yeah,
I think we're at the core of this, and I have to say it, and we're going to move on because we're going to get into some of the Steam numbers on early release. Remember, people actually had to pay $100 for this on Steam. We're going to get to those numbers in a second and what they actually mean moving forward. Mind you, the official release isn't until tomorrow, which is technically it's the 6th, right? Or is it the 5th?
it's the 6th. I think it is 6.
Yeah. So
it's
I mean,
the 6th, but because of New Zealand, people that are west of New Zealand wind up getting it on the 5th because of timing.
Okay. All right, so we're going to get to that in a second. Of course, and we're going to talk about our own personal experiences because I've seen some really wild tales. I have a lot to say, especially when it comes to just finding things and how they really the overarching or ways that a story could play out from the main, aside from the main story, is just crazy. Like, I saw a ship that was in trouble. I boarded with the ship. The ship was about to explode. I had to, set off a couple of switches. I had to save the person. And come meet me over here. You go and meet them over there. And before you get over there, hey, listen, those 3 ships, I sent them running. But if you don't catch them, we'll never catch them. You got to destroy them before they rob somebody else. And I went and found the 3 ships. It's crazy how big this game is and how you and I are going to have such a different thought on this and a different opinion. I do want to finish up this topic, folks, by saying this. Why I think it bothers me more than anything isn't because Microsoft is putting in money in my pocket. They are not. It bothers me because when you consider GameSpot and IGN, who we know are in bed with Sony, they would never do this to a Sony game, even if the game was, I mean, absolutely broken garbage. And a perfect example of that is Forspoken. Now, Forspoken is a terrible game. It's just a terrible, terrible game, broken from the beginning. IGN gave it a 6. You mean to tell me that Forspoken at a 6, that Starfield a point better? I'm just saying that I know we might be comparing apples to oranges here, but I don't know. So it's disappointing. It's not hurting my fun. I just figured I would bring it up. That's the last time we're going to talk about IGN or GameSpot, unless they continue to embarrass themselves. And of course, we'll make mention of it. But it's disappointing. And all I can hope for is that being that they are have proven disingenuous as a conglomerate, that Microsoft maybe reconsiders, dropping something or having, something at their office. Again, I'd like to see Microsoft maybe reach out to VGC. They're small and upcoming. They've done a lot of really good work in the community. I don't always agree with some of the stuff that they do, but for the most part, they have been fair. And I think you can't ask for anything more than being fair. Let me catch up on these super chats. We also have a channel member chat here I want to read. And of course, we'll get on to those numbers I was talking about. Simon Brandy in the chat drops a very generous £5 super chat and says, Metro UK are a disgrace. Yes, they are. They didn't get a code, so now they are spinning lies. He goes on to say, according to Metro UK, I quote, missions are a chain of fast travel journeys, disingenuous nonsense. Yeah, it is. Look, Metro is, I don't even know if Metro is comparable to the Inquirer when you're paying for your groceries. I think Metro UK is more like when you're walking down, like when you're walking to Manhattan and they have free copy, and it's in one of those orange plastic things that you pull if you want to read that someone's opinion. That's really what it is. It's worse than the Inquirer. It's not even paid for print. It's just utter rubbish. Thanks so much for the generosity, Simon. And of course, thanks so much for being here. Gerald Mack drops a very generous $5 super chat and said, shout out to Double Barrel Gaming, Mr. Boomstick and Panel. Gerald, brother, thank you so much for the generosity. And of course, the shout out, Iman Burns, who's been a channel member for 15 months. Thank you so much for that, Iman. He says, hey, Boom, I'm 38 hours into Starfield and I love it. I don't get all of the hate. Fringe that hard mod. I'm doing it very easy to enjoy, no stress, and I'm too old for that shit. Yeah, I mean, there's some people playing this game on hard, like you're crazy. Good on you, because you must be saving like every 3 seconds. Because like in space, if you play like even normal, I died like a ton of times. It's crazy. Our good friend, the Black Harry Potter, folks. This is a declaration. He said it in a tweet to me. I nearly fell over in my chair. He's Mr. Hogwarts, and Hogwarts is just so good. Hogwarts is an amazing experience. We already got word from many people. My Time to Shine is a Twitter account that I follow, and she normally does like Marvel stuff, Marvel and DC movie like leaks. And she put out there that they're working on Hogwarts 2, that shouldn't really come off as a surprise. But he says this after dropping a very generous $5 super chat in all caps, no less. He says Hogwarts Legacy, which was his game of the year, and I say was in past tense, folks, because it has officially, according to the Black Harry Potter, been dethroned by Starfield, is now his game of the year. Listen, brother, there's no shame in picking that game, because listen, we know how much you love Hogwarts, and Hogwarts is amazing. This game just takes it a step above. Igmatic Dreams drops very generous $2 super chat. He says IGN is just like all news media, fake trash. Well, I mean, not all, I would say, but a good portion of them for sure. It's all about the click. I get it. Game Shark drops a very generous $5 super chat and says it's more than just a score. It's the history of unwarranted and unjustified Xbox negativity from IGN. The lack of integrity is blatant. Thanks, guys. And I think that says it all. I really think when it comes down to it, it is a lack of integrity. I mean, folks, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Because this is actual gameplay. This isn't Bethesda. This is my gameplay. Look at the detail on the suits. Look at the detail in the atmosphere. I'm just saying, like, this, how does this scream a 7? I don't get it. But listen, enough of that shenanigans. Let's get into the numbers, because like I'm all about those numbers. Now, I want to bring this into conversation, and this is not being a jumping off point for us versus them or a console war, but it is relevant to what I'm about to talk about. Now, Hazardor Gaming, which everyone knows, has been a stout member of the community. He puts out some incredible stats, and he's always out there tweeting. Well, the highest 24-hour peak for Starfield has hit an all-time high at 245,183 concurrent players on Steam. Now, why that is an irrelevant conversation to have is because this is early access. This means that everyone on Steam bought this game for $100. Okay, now I don't know the Xbox numbers because they haven't put them out there yet. And I don't know on Xbox PC numbers because, well, they haven't put them out there yet. But these numbers we do have. So the new record is 245,183. Now, why that is important is because this is a single-player game. And I say that because I'm going to give you some numbers just for some context, guys. And these are all Sony bangers. These are all Sony highly reviewed games. These are all Sony high-selling games. This is what people own PlayStation 5s for. It's what I own a PlayStation 5 for. And I just want to show you how important this game is to the industry. Check this out. God of War, an all-time peak for the game on Steam, was 73,529. That's on Steam. Followed by Spider-Man 2018 at 66,436. The Last of Us remake comes out to 36,496 concurrent players on Steam. And then after that, well, actually should have been before it, but Horizon Forbidden West, not Forbidden West, Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm sorry, had a number of 56,557 concurrent players. Now, it's important because these are high caliber games that were out on the PlayStation, that were released on Steam. When you combined all of them, all four of these games, they come to 233,018 concurrent players. And right now on early previews, meaning that you had to buy this game for Starfield, 245, 183. Fuzzy, this is a really big deal, and this might be a prelude to when this game actually comes out and people start buying it, because now the hype is there. Now every TikTok video is what ship they built. They made a Millennium Falcon. They made an X-Wing fighter. They made the Enterprise. Starfield has gone so far outside of just Xbox gaming that it cannot be believed. Let's get your hot take on this game having to be bought in early previews versus these Sony bangers.
See, that's the thing. When it comes to the early preview, it's just a snippet of like I guess you could say the most avid fans, as far as whether it be RPGs or just sci-fi in general, to want to pony up the extra $100 or pony up $100 for the full copy. When it comes to those on Xbox or PC with PC Game Pass, a lot of us did the upgrade route, or a good bit of us did the the full $100 one, or even some of the collector editions. Although a handful didn't get those in time because of FedEx and GameStop and a few other places. But it's just a sample for those that knew well before, when people were saying, "Why are you getting hyped over concept art?" or "Why are you getting hyped on a game you haven't seen gameplay for?" or "You've only seen a couple of trailers. Why are you getting so excited about it?" The ones that were excited, those are the ones that, in a lot of cases, not everyone, but a lot of cases, went and spent that extra money. And I can only imagine what those numbers are going to look like come Tuesday after midnight or Wednesday during the day. I think that we're going to see double those numbers as far as concurrent. Will it be a Baldur's Gate, stomping as far as that? I don't know. I kind of think that it will see almost like 100, not 100, like 1 million at some point. But
yeah, me too. Yeah,
I really would like to see, and I know Microsoft isn't going to share it until probably at the end of the month or something like that, but I would be curious to see how many players in general they have listed. Like, from a Game Pass standpoint, since you have 30 million subscribers, you would assume, even if only 10% of those play it or try it, which I doubt only 10% are going to play it, but you're guaranteed at least 3 million there at that point. But I think it's going to be something along the lines of, by the end of this month, there's going to be 10 million active players on Xbox, as far as from the Game Pass standpoint. And then with Steam, I think it tops out somewhere around 1 million or so. Now, you may see it where the concurrent peak reaches the 1 million, then it falls off, only because this game is going to be time consuming. So don't expect to see Monday through Friday numbers as high as you see, Friday through Sunday numbers and stuff. But yeah, this game, it's already just the buzz from the early access is considering, like, and I know I don't want to really compare it to Baldur's Gate, but remember, Baldur's Gate 3 has been in early access for 3 years.
Yes.
Didn't see anywhere near the buzz until it came out to its full release. So, and that release was just on PC, which, but it just only being available on Steam, other than those that did the early access through, I think it was Luna or not Luna. What's the one that Google closed down? Stadia.
Stadia.
That was the only way to get early access before. So you didn't hear any buzz about it. Yeah, there were fans talking about it, but it wasn't like these types of numbers on early access. So you'll be curious to see what it's like, by this point next week. But I'm thinking it reaches 1 million at some point on Steam, and I can only imagine, before the end of this month, it's going to be 10 million active users on Xbox, and then we'll see where it goes from there. And don't forget, there's DLC probably coming out in the next 6 months or so. But yeah, it's going to be amazing to see what these numbers are, and it's already hitting records on for Twitch as far as viewership and things like that.
I was literally going to say that. I'm glad you bring that up. I was going to bring that up to Crazy Lou Gaming. Yeah, Twitch numbers are through the roof, ridiculous.
Yeah. So this game, it's all those that were worried about its marketing, all of those that were worried about, well, I'm worried about the game, it hasn't gone gold, and then it goes gold, and it's like, there's no need to worry. It's a good game. And if you're into sci-fi, if you're into RPGs, if you've ever been a Bethesda fan, whether it be for Skyrim or Fallout, or you're just looking for something that would be if Mass Effect was created today kind of thing, this is the game for you. And I say it's definitely worth a try. If not, I would say at least worth a buy, if not a try on Game Pass. So that's my ramble for the day.
No. Listen, we love the rambles. We think that they're incredibly important. I mean, like I said, we're gonna fan out in the last topic, because some of the lighting, as you can see, it's so the atmosphere that puts it in front of you, and the music. Like I said, if you're not, if you have like a booming sound system, maybe that's how you want to listen to it. Me personally, I've been playing with headphones, and the music is it's crazy good. And it's the audio is just like when you're talking to someone, especially if you're wearing headphones. It doesn't come across on my TV because I don't have like a sound bar. When I'm wearing headphones, if you turn from talking to someone, it goes to your opposite ear and it gets lower. Like you're not like it's really good. But let's get into these numbers, because obviously there are a lot of people on PC that want more of these PlayStation exclusives to come to PC. And obviously we know that Jimmy Boy's all about money. They are leaving money on the table. Though when you consider, even though the games were a little bit older, they were still considered bangers and they sold pretty good. They didn't sell, though, as good as Starfield. Mind you, and I really want that to be kind of drive the point home. Those 200,000+ people that bought it, specifically, I think it's 245,183. Now that number could have gone up. Actually had to buy the $100 edition. That shows the hype. But when you consider something like God of War 2018, Horizon, The Last of Us remake, Spider-Man, those numbers are a fraction of concurrent users. It's a really big deal. And when you consider now, you're starting to hear like Twitch is this game is breaking records on Twitch for concurrent watchers. Like, I'm not a watcher of games, I'd rather play, but there are a lot of people that actually want to watch it. I knew this was going to be a big watch game. Let's get your hot take on this, Crazy Lou.
Boom, let me say something. If it's, I don't remember the last time we have such a hype for a game like this, because for me, I think the last time I heard such big hype for a game like this was when it was Mortal Kombat. I remember when Mortal Kombat came out. That was such everywhere. Mortal Kombat, everywhere you went, it was Mortal Kombat. This game has been hyped so much, and of course, why are you gonna see these numbers this large? Why? Because of the hype of the game, the way the game is built. Everybody that's been wanting to play this, everybody who's been wanting to catch this. I mean, you got movie stars playing this, you got famous people playing this, you got a bunch of people that really just it's amazing on how well this game was received, and it's going to keep on receiving and getting better and better. I mean, look at those numbers on Steam. I was like you, I was impressed. I was like, wow. I mean, this game got so much hype that even on Steam, it got to #1 slot. That's amazing. That's something that's wow. Especially a new title, a brand new title. It's not like a repeated title. No, this is just a brand new title coming in here, and it's become a banger that really just people just don't stop talking about it on the good side of things, on the bad side of things. And why people are watching it? Because hey, people who are wanting to play this game are curious. Hey, is it real? What Todd said, is this real? Let's see what happens. Let me send on Twitch. Let me see if you can land where you want to land. Let me see if you can go wherever you want to go. Let me see all this stuff. Yes, people are gonna watch because really they're curious about why is so everybody talking so good about this game and at the same time talking bad about this game. Why? Because dang, this game is a banger. This game is amazing.
Yes.
And like you keep on saying, I mean, I just can't wait to sit down and talk to you guys about how you feel about it. But really, seeing those numbers go up for a new title, it's amazing. And I'm really glad that it happened, especially for Todd, because hey, he really put his heart into this game. Because the way he
Yeah.
talked about it, the way
Yep.
he expressed himself about it, seemed like he really put his heart into this game more than he did for Skyrim or Fallout, which he loves those games. But for this game, he just the way he expressed himself, I'm like, wow, this has got to be such an amazing game. And he's one of the brightest minds out there in the gaming universe. Because here's something I always say and tell everybody. I mean, the other day they were asking me, what's your score about this game? And I said, hey, this is a Todd Howard game. It's hard that a Todd Howard game goes out, with a bad score. He does a really good job with his team, making a good game. And man, really, him and his team really did an amazing job with this game. So yeah, those numbers up there, amazing. And really, I just can't wait till the 6th to see how much bigger it's gonna get, because hey man, it's gonna get bigger and bigger. This game is gonna really sell well.
Yeah, I think sales wise, this is going to do great numbers for Xbox, but I think ultimately this is going to move the needle when it comes to, oh snap, I can pay $17 a month and I can get this plus everything else. I think that's really what it comes down to. Let's move the conversation along to personal experiences, because that's where I think where a lot of people in the chat are gonna have some fun. Hold on just a second. Buzz, I want to start with you first, because obviously the thing that I'm noticing online is people's experiences that are off of the main beaten path. And I think that's where this game is really going to live. For me, some of the side missions have been like really opening paths to meeting other people that you would potentially not meet if you didn't find it. Like I said, I found, because I have joined a bunch of factions. Like right now, I'm in deep one of the main missions, and I don't know if it's a main mission or it's not. But the United Colonies has me undercover at the Crimson Fleet. And they're but obviously I'm not hanging out with the Crimson Fleet for anything outside of doing the mission, because I'm going to hunt them down and kill them like I've been doing. But I'm in deep cover and I'm playing as a bad guy for this one mission, and it's opening all of these different things. Like for instance, there's a guy that was on the Crimson Fleet, actually not such a bad dude, and he's like, "Hey, listen, man, thanks for not ratting me out there. I super appreciate it. Maybe I can even join your crew." I'm like, "Oh snap!" Have this guy join my crew. He's actually not a bad dude. He's really good he's got like a Gatling gun. I'm like, I can add that guy. So as soon as I'm done the mission, I'm coming back to add that dude to my crew. He's dope. Yeah. Fuzzy, let's get your hot take on this, man. I mean, what I think is going to be a driving force in Starfield is the water cooler moments outside of the main story. Like I know a lot of people like, hey, I picked up this person on the first planet and I got like 10, like people like, I got like 10 side quests. I'm like, how did you find them? I just went riding around and I would listen to people say, oh, I'm in trouble, and go up to them and speak to them.
Yeah.
Talk about it, man.
Man, this game has so much depth as far as like, I do my traditional pick up all the quests that I can kind of thing, talk to everybody kind of deal. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, because, depending on the companion that you have with you, they may not like the stuff that you need to do to get the other stuff done. So I tend to have, even though you can only have one companion at a time, I tend to have either 2 or 3 people with me, because I'll start a quest where, okay, the person that I'm helping is coming along with me, and then we need to find this other person to take them along. And it's like, there's just so many different ways you can go about things. Like I've found that depending on who your companion is, like let's say for example, you have Sarah with you. No spoilers or anything like that, but you're going to want to make sure that you kind of follow the good guy trend, but you can kill people and she won't freak out. But when you have somebody like this one lady that you have to rescue from like a colony that's been decimated, kind of thing, you kill people and she's going to flip out or have an issue with it, kind of thing. So it's like, depending who you're with will either make the story work out well, or even some of the conversations that they'll have on the ship. Like you'll hear some of them talking to each other about things, and it's like, oh well, maybe if I go and get this book and give it to her dad, then she'll have something to read and she'll stop saying like random silly things on the ship, type of deal. So there's just so much stuff. But like my some of my best experiences were like rescuing somebody from a planet, having pirates try to attack me, and it wasn't the one where you're supposed to intentionally have like pirate ships attack you, but just random stance. Because like Boom was saying earlier, space battles are awesome in this thing. Although you definitely have to channel your inner TIE fighter setup or something to kind of make things work and keep your eye on your shields and engines and stuff. But I rescued somebody off the planet. We were going to take them back to a safer place, and pirate ships are there. I take down 3. The other one is about ready to attack me, and then I wound up having that the almost like the VATS type system where you could target the certain parts on the ship, targeted the engines, made them pretty much immobile, docked them, went on there, killed the crew. Had one of my companions with me, threw a grenade, they threw it back. She shot it with a laser gun and it blew up kind of in their faces. And unfortunately, some of these ships, they tend to keep flammable stuff all throughout the ship. They got like fuel cans here or oxygen tanks over here. And it's like that explosion just like knocked them out. One guy's like limping around. I go to, shoot one of them, and then the other one, smack him in the face with the hatchet that they give you. And then the other guy, after seeing that, he like dropped his weapon and started like backing up. So apparently you can intimidate or incite fear into some of these individuals. Killed him, then went into like the command or like the captain's chair area where there were like 3 people, threw in a grenade, just knocked out all 3 of them in one shot, type of deal. And I think that ship I actually want to keep in afterwards, although had to pay to register it and fix it and stuff like that. But that was just one of those amazing things. And the thing that was funny about it was when you get on the ship, the lights are red, which you're not maybe used to being on a spaceship with the lights being all red. It almost feels like you're in a movie at that point, kind of thing.
Yes.
And then there's been other ones where gravity keeps on cutting on and off. So that makes for an interesting thing. There's some either space stations or spaceships you'll dock. It's like you hail them, no sounds or whatever. And you got pirates, scavenging and whatnot. So it makes for interesting fights. And there are missions that are like mainline quests that you could do, but have a different outcome. Like a good friend of the community, PTK Blam, he did I don't hope I'm not spoiling this, but you're going to get a secret base mission type of thing that you may want to investigate. On that mission, he got a legendary rifle, like a pulse rifle, which I don't think many other people got, but he's one of the few that got that legendary pulse rifle during that. Now there's other killer rewards at the end of that, but I'm like, oh wow, how'd you do that? It was like, no, just one of the guys I shot just happened to have it, and that's how he wound up with it. So you could try the same missions, approach them totally different ways, have either the same outcome or different outcomes. It all depends on like a whole bunch of random other events. And that's like with the handcrafted stuff. The non-handcrafted stuff is even more engaging for the fact that more times than not, behind a locked door or that upper level, like you usually have like most of the people you're facing are on the same number level as you. but you'll see one where it might be almost like double level or like at least 10 levels up. That's the guy that's usually, or guy or gal, usually holding either
Carrying
special gear or special weapon. So that you want to target that one. If you're going to kill anybody, kill that one first. And then that way, whatever they drop, or when you go to scavenge stuff off of them, there'll be something definitely worthwhile. It will definitely be an upgrade over what you have. And it may even have like a perk if it's like that bluish green, or if it's purple. Purple has 2 perks, gold has 3, and then the blue screen has 1 perk to it, type of thing. That sometimes, like I had a helmet that makes me camouflage. Like before I even
found it, that like Predator, right?
Yeah,
dude, I saw someone put that on TikTok. I was like, holy shit! When you sneak, it makes you like the Predator. I'm like, oh. God,
and I didn't realize it. Like the guy snuck up on me, and now I know why he snuck up on me. But I'm like, who the heck is this? Because I was getting shot on my left side, and I think I hatcheted him in the face, and that was the end of him. But yeah, for the most part, there's like all these like random gear. Like it's like if you're a looter shooter fan, even the fact that it's not in just like one confined map, like your Destiny. Well, Destiny is kind of like the closest thing, I guess you could say. But like with the Division, I'm a looter shooter fan to the core. This has so much depth to it, and the weapons will either have modifications already on them, or you can add the modifications yourself, and then upgrade that weapon substantially. So it's just, there's so much to this game, and like I have, was it 2 days, 1 hour, and like 15 minutes or something? Yeah, I'm running on low sleep, but yeah, I got 10 ships. 6 of them were stolen. One was a reward, and the other 3 are kind of like your basic ones that you come across for certain missions. But man, and I think I have 8 companions, but I finally have a ship where I can have 4 of them. I actually have a ship where I can have 6 of them, but the other ones are more so if I ever start to do base building, that's where I'm going to put those. But I haven't
you
even
were so
touched base
far away
building
from
yet.
me, and I have like 30 hours, and I have 2 ships, one of which I got in a mission. That's a prison transport. It got no weapons at all. It's ugly as all hell. And I'm like, man, how did I get this crap?
You could definitely upgrade that one. Like that. You know what the funny thing is? I wonder if that prison ship has like what do they call it? Like secured or concealed storage, like a certain percentage of it.
Well, I got it from the Crimson Fleet, so I would imagine so.
So if you ever want to smuggle something, that could probably do it.
I was on the mission. It was like a side mission. It's like, I picked up something that says, human organs, but you can't carry it. I'm like, but I dropped it. I'm like, I'm not smuggling human organs. Get out of here.
No, I made the mistake. I had it on me, went and did a fast jump somewhere and forgot I still had it on me. And they're like, I as soon as they went to scan, I was like, I was trying to evade. And the fact that I evaded, they went after me, took down 3 of the FC ships or Free Collective. Had to redo my save though, because after I took down 3 of them, I'm like level 14. These ships are like 48s and stuff that they sent after me. And the last one did some damage, and then they spawned 4 more. So I was like, yeah, this ain't going to work.
I have to save a lot, folks. Do the quick save. I've been playing, and I'm like if you're ever going to the word of advice, you're going to pick locks. Do a quick save before it, so just in case you have to, you don't want to burn through all your picks, your digipicks. And before you get into a conversation where you could persuade, save it. So if you make a mistake, you can go back and reload it and cheat. That's cheating. I don't care. Real quick, before we bring in Crazy Lou, I want to read the super chats. But before I do that, I want to show you this one armor that I picked up. I put it on Twitter last night. It looks so freaking good. Look, to me, it reminds me of the Mandalorian. Mrs. Boom says no, but I'm going to show you. Let me do it. She says no. Let me do a screen share. Hold on. You tell me what you think. Here we go. Hold on a sec. Here we go. There it is, folks.
Wow.
I think it looks like the Mandalorian. Awesome. For me personally, it's so badass. I'm like,
I got to see if I can find it. Live out the true bounty hunter story quest.
Yeah, she said it looks closer to like a Halo outfit more so than a Mandalorian, but that's fine. It's okay. It's all right. Yeah. Crazy Lou Gaming. I'm going to come back to you in a hot second, brother. Let me just catch up on these super chats here. Got quite a few of them. Raiden Blade drops an additional. He drops two pound super chats and says Metro says free paper, not worth the paper it's printed on. Oh, well, there you go. I did not know that. My goal is to create a white spark from Babylon 5. He says after another additional 2 pound super chat. Dude, listen, people are so talented. I don't know what it is. The shipbuilding is just, I don't know. I have to mess with it. I have to spend some time with it. I jumped into it. I was like, yeah, I'm not understanding what the hell I'm doing here. Maybe I could figure it out. Jax82 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I saw the early access of Starfield, said that there would be outages. Have you experienced any while playing? Can't put Starfield down enjoying it. No, I haven't had even a bug. I have not even had to reload a save outside of I wanted to reload it. I have not got stuck out of anything. I mean, I'm sure somebody has had bugs, but from what I've played, I haven't come across any for sure. Darren Britton, or I think it's Brighton, drops a very generous $5 super chat. Thank you so much for that, Darren. Darian, I super appreciate that. He says, to me, it's strange that mostly complaining about it being a Bethesda game, though through and through. What did they expect? It's a BGS game, not a Larian game. I don't know. If you've ever played a Bethesda game, though, then you kind of know what you're getting yourselves into. Jimbo Jangles, what's up, brother? Thank you again. If you didn't know, he made not only myself a G.I. Joe controller, he made Mrs. Boom a Thundercats controller, which I put out on the socials. Oh my God, it's gorgeous. He drops a very generous $20 super chat and says, Starfield is finally out. The NFL season starts in a few days. A hottie at the bar gave me her number that didn't start with 555 for once. Life is cool sometimes. Loving the show as always, crew. Have a great holiday, brother. Thank you so much for the generosity, and awesome that you got that hottie's number. That is pretty dope. Listen, thank you so much for checking out the show as you always do. Crazy Lou Gaming, what has happened to you in game that you want to tell us about that someone may or may not have experienced?
Oh man. Ooh, so much stuff going on in this game. It's funny. It's crazy. I mean, sometimes you like how Fuzzy said, you're like going into hyperdrive and going to another planet, but all of a sudden you land on this planet. You're like in space, and you got like 10 pirate ships against you. And the funny thing is, if they see you, man, that's it for you. I mean, you try to run and hide. Oh, it's so hard to run and hide in this game. It's crazy. I mean, you got to move fast and be like, oh, let me land real quick before they catch me and start shooting at me, because once you start the combat, you're doomed. They're gonna get at you. But man, this game, wow. Ooh, I'm just impressed. Each time I sit down and play, like you say, Mr. Boom said, like Fuzzy's saying, you know, how you run around, you see new stuff, all these side missions, all these side quests, all the stuff that you can get out of it. And you know what I love a lot about this game is the leveling. It's hard to level up, which makes it way more funner. And not only that, after you level up, right, you have to go and buy the trait that you want to buy. Okay, let me go buy this real quick. Or is it the trait, right? Traits, right? I gotta go buy like the combat trait or something. After you buy that, you have a small challenge to complete before you can upgrade that trait. So it's a challenge. It's a challenging game. It's such an amazing experience. I mean, I've seen people on Twitter, like for example, like I wonder, there's like a thing on top that says how many hours it's been since something has happened. And somebody shot a person.
I saw that, dude.
And when it's to zero, it's like, oh my God, that is
the
just
number
awesome.
Changed, bro. It's crazy.
It's funny. I mean, I was just wow. I'm just sad about a couple things though. And what I'm really sad about a couple things in this game is that I wanted to build my home base in the planet Uranus. And I couldn't make my own base in the planet Uranus. I was really sad about that. I was like, no, I wanted to build my base here and I couldn't do it. Really. So if Bethesda hears me out, please let me build my base there. I mean, I really want to have my home base there. I mean, it's such a nice, chill planet to stay there. Enjoy. Oh man, I want that. And not only that, I have not found that much of sandwiches. I've only found 2 sandwiches. I'm like, dang.
I've gotten a couple of bitten sandwiches. I haven't found any of the full ones. Yeah, I don't want to collect eaten sandwiches. That's not fun.
Oh, I don't want to collect that either. But hey, I remember that was the first thing I saw. I saw a person eat a sandwich and I stole a sandwich. Like, hey, that's my sandwich. Like, I don't care. I'm here to take sandwiches and collect sandwiches. So yeah, I took that bitten sandwich off his mouth right away. He was mad at me. I don't care. But man,
hilarious.
Oh, man, but really, the game is wow. I mean, each time, and I love the planet exploration. I love landing on the planet. I know people like to go in there and just rush through it. No, man, I like to take my time and explore. Here's another thing I have about the game that, like you, Mr. Boomstick, I do not understand the whole space. I like the whole building ship thing.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, they should have like a small tutorial and say, okay, in order to do this, what happens if you do that? I don't know if it does, but I did not see that. Basically, not on my side of the game, I did not see that. And also,
I have to watch like a YouTube instructional video.
Yeah, you got to watch.
They have a help guide, but it's in like the settings menu, I think.
Okay.
It'll have like a glossary of terms, although it's detailed, but not necessarily detailed on building the base. But that's I'm gonna tackle that.
The base building I didn't even do in Fallout 4, and I put a lot of time into Fallout 4, so I don't care so much about that. The ship building I would like to do. And like I said, right now I'm so intent on just playing the game that I don't want to spend any unnecessary time. Like I don't want to waste 2 hours building a ship that's gonna suck when I could just go and potentially come across someone that's trying, a derelict one. Which I'll tell you my derelict ship story in a second. It's pretty interesting.
I think it doesn't let you though, because if you have like a lot of mass that's the things I'm trying to figure out. If you have like a whole lot of bunch of things, like it won't let you build that type of ship. I think it will be like an error code. It tells you there's an error, so you gotta go back and fix it. So in order to get it proper, in order for you to fly it, I think
you just have to make sure you have enough thrust. So you'd have to for a certain amount of mass, you'd have to add engines. And then if you do that, that'll get you into space. But then you have to look also at your space jump type of thing. So you'd have to upgrade that engine as well because of the mass. So
the warp drive, the
warp drive, So it's almost like upgrade the engines first, or be ready to upgrade the engines when you want to add more stuff to the ship. And as long as you kind of balance that out, you'll be good. You'll be golden.
Oh man, like I said,
I just want to press download, folks. I just want to download it, man. I want to go like, oh, I have all of this money. That's a nice looking ship. Well, because I know you can go and you can buy ships, and some of the ships they're awful. I'm not spending $100K on some crappy ship. I'm not doing that. But if someone from the community said, hey, Mr. Boom, look, someone just made the Millennium Falcon, I'll take that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's fine by me.
They should have that. Like if you want to go download community ships and stuff like that, they gotta have that on there. I hope the modders do that.
Yeah, I think the modders will. They'll probably have it like where there's a mod store and you'll be able to go ahead and buy the ships. But I think that might be like a month away, probably.
That's fine.
Can you imagine, Fuzzy, that maybe since you found like a stealth helmet, would there be a camouflage thing for the ships, like how the Predators have?
Like bird of prey kind of a thing.
Oh my! I haven't progressed that far enough yet.
Can you imagine you can find something like that? Oh, and it's got to be in. It's got to be in there. It's got to be.
I think it's in there because I've seen. I forget what faction it was. I think it was Freestar Collective. They have it where you'll see like an icon that they're moving around, and then you'll see almost like they warp to them or that they've materialized. So I've seen it, in the game, but it's like it's either under Freestar Collective or it's under one of the factions where they were just chilling there, and I'm like, there should be a ship there. And I guess because I'm friendly with Freestar Collective, it showed their icon. And then they materialized, like where it's almost like they came out of warp, but they weren't warping because they were talking to me beforehand. They were like, hey, it's good to see that you're in this area looking to help, some of these, cargo ships. I was like, oh, I got to look out now for invisible ships too.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that would be awesome. If you can have like a camouflage ship, like the Predator thing, that way, especially if you land on the planet, like I said, you do the gravitational thing, right? You get to a planet, and all of a sudden it's like 5 paraships. And you're like, uh-oh, So you're trying to like let me move kind of slow. They spot you out of the way and they come at you like it was nothing and they tear you up. I mean, they're mean.
Yeah.
They are really mean. I mean, they don't give you a breather. But man, seriously, I'm having a lot of fun. I have put 15 hours into it, and the 15 hours I put into it, like I said, I basically, every time I land on a planet, I like to run around, look for stuff because, especially with some, I don't know if you guys have found like contraband stuff. I found like a contraband artwork thing underneath like a base because you got, I mean, if you're outside, guys, you gotta even go down beneath the structures.
Yes.
If you can go beneath them, because you can find stuff that they're hiding, contraband stuff like that. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And like you mentioning Fuzzy, I mean, now I'm like more intrigued to do more side quests in the main mission because man, you get ships that you can take free ships and stuff like that. Now I want to do more stuff like more side missions, get those free ships and try to find the ship that I can smuggle contraband cargo in, sell it. Because really, it's so much cool stuff in this game. Oh my god! And man, you all experience something different. Me, I'm just really amazed at all the stuff you guys are experiencing. And me, I'm just like I said, I'm just landing on planets, doing a little bit of the main mission, doing a couple things on the side mission.
Whenever I see abandoned something, I'm going in there because I know spacers or pirates are going to be in there, and I know they're going to have loot. That's my whole mindset. I'm like, you know what? And that's the thing. Like my cargo hold is full, and I don't even know how to make it any bigger. Like, how do you make it?
You got to mod the ship. That's the thing. You got to sit there and mod it. You can make a bigger cargo space and stuff like that. I got to figure
this out.
Well, there's a couple of ways. You could. There's a skill in I think the far tech tree or whatever it has for like a lot of stuff for the ships. There's one that you can spec into, but I don't know if it's worth it versus doing like the jetpack. I think the jetpack is probably the way to go.
My jetpack's maxed out. Yeah, I maxed that out immediately.
And then security is probably another good one, but there is one to get more cargo space. There's also like, and I haven't played that many Bethesda games prior to this, but there's also magazines. So sometimes when you're looting, there's like little posters or magazines that will give you like permanent 5%.
You get a peck, you get a like a perk.
Yeah. So there are ones for like 5% more cargo space or 10% more cargo space that I found. There's ones for being able to hold 5% or 10% more stuff. Some of the outfits you can wear, like under your spacesuit, will give you like perks for carrying stuff. There's like the trucker one where it's like a plaid shirt and like bib overalls. And that one I think gives you like an extra 5 or 10%.
My jetpack gives me extra 20 because it's a legendary. So I got a legendary jetpack, and it gives me a bonus perk of carry a 25% additional like for the pounds that you can carry.
Yeah. So there's like you could either buy a bigger ship, modify your current ship to get more room, spec into one of the perks, or just randomly find a magazine that has a perk like that on it.
I'm probably just awesome. Going to upgrade the ship because I like the starting ship. I've upgraded the weapons and the warp drive and everything. So I spent some time with that. Shout out to Jonathan Cox in the chat. Says I did a lot of base building in Fallout 4 and 76. The mods made base building great in Fallout 4. He's a master level building. And he goes on to say that, with all Bethesda games, there is a bit of a learning curve. So you gotta keep at it. He's absolutely right. Listen, folks, a couple more super chats to get into here. But before we do, let me tell you my story. I came across I saw this structure floating out in space, and it was a gambling establishment. So I clicked to hail them, and you get static, and I'm like, oh, something happened. So I click it again, static. I said one more time before I dock, let me see what I'm walking into. Click it, and it's all static. So I'm like, all right, let me dock. You get in. Like Fuzzy said, the red lights are going off. And I'm like, there's a problem. There's no gravity at all. The gravity has been completely destroyed. The gravity drive has been completely destroyed. So the whole mission was floating. And it was packed with pirates. And there was one dude, like the leader, he dropped a legendary shotty. So I got a legendary shotgun as well. And it's an old school one from like Earth, like our Earth, that kind of shotgun. and I did the whole mission. I think there's like 15 of them in there, and I wound up killing everybody there. He was the last one. He had like 3 life bars. He was like a real pain in the ass to kill. And he kept running away every time, you get him down a little bit, he'd run away. I'm like, why can't I find this? This place is huge. And it's those kind of encounters. Like I said, the other one was I'm doing some side quests for the Lone Star, and I came across a ship that's just floating. You could see that she got no power in the engines, and it's smoke. And I'm like, oh, and there's like a beacon going off where she's radioing, and it's crackling. You get in, and she's shot, and she's like, "Oh, can you please? The ship is about to self-destruct, so you have to run around the ship, clicking all these switches so it doesn't blow up while you're in there." And then you save her, and she's like, "Oh, listen, by the way, come to this planet. I'll give you a reward." And and it just so happens that side mission connected with one of the other main missions. But I could have completely not even helped her. It's all I can say, folks, is enjoy the game. Don't get bent out of shape with the reviews. Is it going to be the game of the year? I don't know. Is it my game of the year? I hate to say this already. Yes, it already is my game of the year. It is big. It's bodacious. I have never seen and played a game that gives you the universe to explore. If you are an explorer and you want to just go, and like I said, I have so many main missions, especially for the constellation. All I have to do is go talk to this person. I'm sure I'll get just talk to them, and you're going to get experience points. I'm not even paying attention to those. I'm finding going here, there, and everywhere to be so much of what this game is the exploration is bonkers. The loot grind is real, especially if you're like, for instance, I didn't know that he had the Predator helmet. That is freaking dope. But listen, before we get to outros, folks, let me thank the near 600 people we had here on a holiday. You didn't know how the show was going to go. Hopefully you enjoyed the banter enough to hit that like button. If you're finding the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing. And of course, I want to thank DeAndre Banks, who drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, ponies want Starfield bad. And it's funny you should say that, because I saw this and I was just laughing. Someone in the modding community has added PlayStation prompt controls to Starfield. I mean, wow. Like, just buy an Xbox, man. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. Harky Chani, what's going on, brother? Hopefully you are enjoying your day. And of course, he says this after dropping a very generous $10 super chat. I can't stop playing Starfield, in all caps. The last time it was Zelda for me, I kept catching the clock and saying, "Oh, it's that late." I hear Fuzzy on not getting a lot of sleep. Bro, this is as much fun there is so much fun in this 7 out of 10 game. Love the slander. We have Quan the Terrible dropped a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Play the Crimson Fleet quest line. So good." Yes, I'm doing it right now. It's crazy good. Eternal Shaddai, generous friend of the program, drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Good afternoon, panel and chat. I love creating my gummy ship on Starfield." Good for you, man. I really got to spend some time with this shipbuilding thing. I think I'm going to try and find out video, and maybe someone can explain it to this old man. I don't know. Listen, let's get everyone out here. Start first with Fuzzy Belvedere. Brother, sell your channel. Tell everyone where you're going to have one of the best places for anything and everything, with Forza Motorsport releasing next month. And of course, we'll be back here next Monday, where we'll have my actual hands-on preview conversation with what was shown to me and allowed for me to play while I was at the Microsoft experience last Tuesday, to talk about Forza Motorsport. And I'll actually be able to show you my gameplay that Microsoft was nice enough to send me home with. I'll have that running the entire episode. And talk about it, brother. Where can people check out your channel, and more importantly, follow you on social media?
Well, just want to thank you as always for having me on. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Love some of your interactions and some of your thoughts and a few of the stories. Although I just want to clear something up. I didn't have my ship stolen. I've stolen some ships, but somebody in the community, Drawn TJ, did have his ship stolen while we were in.
He said
party
that.
chat.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah, man, that was.
Yeah, he walked away from his ship, and pirates landed next to him. He went to fight on their ship, and some of the ones snuck by him, got on his ship, and took it. So
Jesus,
he had to reload his save. But yeah, like I said, this game is going to take a lot of us. You know, all of our, I won't say all of our free time, but a good bit of it. But enjoy this game. Enjoy interacting with everyone. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. For those that want to hear, any of my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at @fuzzy_Belvedere. You can also find me on Fun Speculations channel at 10 p.m. tonight for FSP, and then right back here for Breakfast with Boom, 10 a.m. on Friday. Also, for anyone that wants any updates on Forza news or some of my thoughts on some of the things coming to the game, just follow me on YouTube or subscribe to my channel, Fuzzy Belvedere altogether, or Fuzzy_Belvedere if you do a search, and you'll be able to find me. Once again, thanks again, and man, awesome games. This year has been, I know some people say 2007 is still better. No, I honestly think this is a better year right now.
Absolutely. I mean, when you consider all the new IPs, I mean, when I'm not talking about like sequels, talking about new IPs that are coming out, this year is just a plethora of games on every console. So no matter where you play, I think you're definitely getting your money's worth of your console for sure. But listen, Crazy Lou Gaming, sell the brand of Xbox International. Where can people check that out each and every week? More importantly, where can people find you taking a shower on social media?
Oh, it's simple and easy. You can find me on Twitter at Crazy Louis Gaming, where I say good mornings and do all sorts of crazy stuff. Hey, another thing, guys, don't forget, this is important. This is the only sport I'm going to give you all in the game. Don't forget to visit the doctor once in a while. Don't forget to do that. If you don't visit the doctor in the game, I mean, I visited the doctor and she's like, oh, you have something, like, oh, and I had to pay to cure that illness. I do not know what I have.
I have something right now that I can't seem to get rid of. I do have. Where's the doctor? In the Constellation, right?
It's in Atlantis, and you gotta land in it's Atlantis, right? The town, right?
Yes, yeah.
So you gotta land. You gotta go inside I think it's the well, right? The floor underneath is the well. You go on inside the well and try like walk a little bit. You see a big menace spot. Go to that doctor, and you have to pay like a sum of money. She cures you right away. But yeah, you got to go get cured. That's the only sport I'm going to give on the game. And also, you can find me at the Xbox International Podcast Wednesdays at 7 p.m. ET with Silent Cypher, Sour Blow, and the Big Boom. And we're going to have an awesome guest this week, which is Drawn TJ is going to join us this Wednesday. We're going to have a lot of fun. And on Friday, sometimes I might join, sometimes I may not. Xbox International en Español for the Spanish community with Eternal Sedai and Asca Gaming at 7 p.m. ET also. That's where you can find the crazy one. And hey, Mr. BoomStick, like always, thank you for always having me on here. And chat, you guys are always awesome. Enjoy the game and have a lot of fun.
Yes, absolutely. And again, a big shout out to all the super chats. Obviously, they do more for the channel than you could possibly realize. So the generosity cannot be overstated. We're incredibly humbled and thankful for the continued support, both through super chats as well as channel memberships. And of course, I'm going to close out today's show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully, one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, Craig. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. We'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Lunch Break Special.